So government can come in and actually kill industry. Yes, that is a risk. To answer your question, but whether or not I would say that would be the main focus of the risk. My main focus of the risk would be normalization of margins. So if you want to not look at the political side and then stick to the what could happen if just things get back to normal, or what will most likely happen is things get back to normal, not just everyone being peak pessimism or peak, you could say, scare. But I don't even, you see, like, because I don't want to ramble, but it wasn't so much peak scare. It was also scarcity of the product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it won't be that scarce going forward. And that being said, that would probably be reflecting in the margins going forward. So if those margins come down, these cash flows are not going to be sustainable. They're probably going to normalize. I've normalized them for the sake of this model today. I've actually, if we're being honest, I've made it higher. So I've actually been quite generous. All right. But the problem with a lot of, I saw another content creator make a video about this company, and they were discussing or showcasing in their formulations that the business would continue going forward from the current numbers. I think that's very flawed. And whoever's following them into this investment may end up getting a big surprise, because they touted it as an extremely cheap opportunity.
Falling into a value trap, in essence. That's what you're basically
that's actually the perfect, thank you. That's the perfect word. This is actually a case study of a potential value trap. I don't know, because I haven't actually gone through the whole thing yet.
Yeah, this is also a preliminary analysis done live. So also saying that as well. Yeah. But please continue along the train of thought that you currently had.
I'm always skeptical, kind of like what Howard Marks says, when something is too good to be true, it probably is. I'm always skeptical when something shows up and it's extraordinarily cheap. I understand that, sometimes it is extraordinarily cheap, but I'm always skeptical, and I try to find out, why is it cheap? And now I'm kind of seeing it. Remember, a good investor, a good finance investor looks at the numbers and takes a story, derives a story from the numbers, not just looks at numbers and then just says, oh, ratio go up, better. No, you got to tell a story. So right here, the story is telling me that the margins have just blown up, and now I have to then, going forward, assume whether or not the margins are going to maintain themselves or come down. Okay, so let's look at some activity ratios. And again, we see the same story. It's 2020, 2021. We see the cash conversion cycle. That's a
pretty exceptional change. I do have to note that. Wow.
You should note that. So this is where I'm trying to say to our audience watching, we're still a small channel. So not many of those people who watched that other channel will see this video. Not many of them. So for those of you who may have seen, videos about Smith & Wesson, how cheap it is, hopefully you take, you also take this perspective in mind.
Let me make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying here correctly. Just to summarize, to make sure that I can kind of put myself into the audience's mind right now.
Yeah.
We need to be careful, because a lot of the other content creators making videos about this are assuming that what has happened in 2020 and 2021 will continue. Typically, what we like to invest over the next 10 years. What happened in 2020 and 2021 will continue over the next 10 years. Meanwhile, what you're saying is that you potentially believe that 2020 and 2021 were exceptional years for Smith & Wesson. However, it should regress back down to 2017 levels, as reflected in their margins, as we're seeing here in their activity ratios. And because of that, you think that there could be a potential value trap here. Am I understanding this correctly?
I think it will regress back to trend growth. I do think that they were growing, but it will regress back to trend. Okay. So that normalization period will see a decline in margins, decline it pretty much across the board. And then you're going to be caught holding the bag and not understanding why.